everybody, and welcome to the Blu-ray Hunter. I'm the Blu-ray Hunter, Jonathan Moody, and I've got a really fun show for you guys. We're going to be doing my top 10 Alfred Hitchcock movies I own. This isn't necessarily because I think I'm missing a couple, so it's, like I'm missing Rear Window. I know that would be on here, and there'd be Suspicion I can't find, so that would be on here too. But aside from those two, we've got a pretty good show for you guys. Right now, I'm gonna actually give you guys kind of a few of the ones that I didn't put up on here, but would have been put up here had not a few other ones, took its place. So another one is The Wrong Man is not on the thing. I just bought this from the Warner Archives collection. Classic, really good movie. To Catch a Thief, this is a classic one. Cary Grant and Grace Kelly. I mean, how like that's just the perfect couple right there in this movie, and they're so great in it. If you haven't seen it, it's wonderful. Also, it's got like great commentary and other stuff. So for it. Next to The Trouble with Harry, a classic movie. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. And last of my sort of honorable mentions is Shadow of a Doubt. Great movie. Also love this movie. It is fantastic. If you haven't had a chance to see it, check it out. So with that being said, all these are also fantastic, but these are like my top movies. So top 10. So these are ranking my top 10 movies of Alfred Hitchcock that I own right now. So first off is Strangers on a Train. If you haven't seen Strangers on a Train, this movie is fantastic. It is about these two guys who meet each other on a train, and one of them just asked this one crazy question of like, if I killed somebody of yours, would you kill somebody I, asked and stuff. And then I guess it started out like hypothetical, like, I didn't think that this guy would actually do it. Well, then of course he does it. I might put this up a little bit. So then, of course, he does it. So he goes on and, he actually kills kills, I think, I don't know who he killed like the girlfriend or something. He kills this girl, and then he is supposed to kill his father or something. I think it was the father that the guy was supposed to kill. And yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but I really, really loved it. It was a really good movie, and it's got a lot of Hitchcock's traits in it, like trains, and obviously there should be. Um, it says final release version with commentary, so there's commentary for the final release version of this film. Definitely a movie that I think you all should check out if you haven't seen it yet. All right, so that's my number 10. My number 9 is The Birds. Wow. A lot of people put this up like top of their list and everything, and I like it. I like it a lot, but it's not something I watch over and over and over again. I should, maybe. I should check it out. If you don't know anything about this, it's basically what's the woman's name? Uh Tippi Hedren plays this character who basically gets attacked by birds, and the whole town's getting attacked by birds. It was Birdemic before Birdemic. So there you go. I think Birdemic stole a lot of stuff from the birds. It's a great movie though. Well, well, well done. Next is a little movie called Rope. If you haven't seen this movie, it's Jimmy Stewart plays this professor that goes to a party held by Farley Granger and Sir Cedric Hardwicke. No, John Dahl. Sir Cedric Hardwicke as Cedric Hardwicke's in it. Um, and he goes to their party that they hold, and he and is basically they murdered a classmate and put him in, in box thing in an area that, where people are eating on top of it. And it's all done all in one take, which was wonderful. But, it can't actually be done all in one take, Like I would love to see an actual movie that could do it all in one take, could do the whole movie all in one take, where it's just because you can now, I think we have tapes that last, over, over 2 hours. So if everything is done well enough, you could shoot a whole, yeah, it's just batteries last only so long. There, it would be really hard to do that. If you could figure out a way to do it, that would be awesome to do it all in one take, all in one day. And you'd have to basically have everything planned out from the second. There could be no fuck ups whatsoever. I guess every day you'd have to like rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. But anyway, they did a great job with this one. You know, it's the first color film, that Hitchcock ever did. So there you go. It's an interesting fact. Here's a classic. This is from my Criterion line, and it is the 39 Steps. It is basically the first like real Hitchcockian Hitchcock movie. It is basically a man who he stumbles upon a conspiracy and then gets kind of trapped into it, and then he's on the run from everybody, including the cops, to the people who are trying to stop him from knowing too much information and all this other stuff. And it's got a MacGuffin, it's got everything that the Hitchcock thing, great shots, great everything. Like it's just fantastic. It's such a great movie. If you haven't seen it, it's beautiful. Um, there's a British documentary covering Hitchcock. There's audio, there's commentary. I mean, the Criterion doesn't play around with the special features on their stuff, so definitely worth it. Here's a Kino release. I can't find the fucking Blu-ray. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere or it's missing forever, and I'm gonna have to buy a new copy of this. And it's Lifeboat. This is one of my favorites. Like this movie was the first movie where I could say I didn't mind a movie taking place in one place, Usually I hate that. Usually that's one of my biggest things, but this movie is like a play, and plays usually take place in one place. So, they did a great job with this one. I love this movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. After that, we've got Notorious starring Cary Grant and I think Ingrid Bergman. Is that Ingrid Bergman? Doesn't it? It's got usually they have the cast listing at the back of these things. Where is it? Hmm. Yeah, yeah, Bergman, Cary Grant, Claude Rains. I mean, what a cast there. Hitchcock always has a great cast, usually. Usually, I don't think I've ever seen one where I was in like, even if I didn't know the actors, I was enthralled by their acting. So definitely good flick. It's basically Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman play these two characters who like believe both of them are spies. Um Ingrid Bergman plays Alicia, an alluring woman with a checkered past, recruited by Devlin, a suave, mysterious intelligence agent to spy on the US. So I think he has her spy on her boyfriend at the time, which was Claude Rains, and then she falls in love with Cary Grant, and then there's the key and all this other stuff. So MacGuffin and all that fun stuff. All right. If you don't know what MacGuffin is, you have not watched enough Hitchcock movies or studied them. So go study them. Next is Vertigo. A lot of people love this movie, so this is what number four, my number fourth. Um, and a lot of people love this movie. I do too. I think it's great. It's fantastic. It's like very thrilling and very interesting and very scary at times. Like you don't know what's gonna happen when you first watch it. And then after you watch it, you kind of want to see more and more, and more gets revealed every time you watch it. So it's a very interesting Hitchcock movie with Jimmy Stewart and who's the actress in it? Kim Novak. She's wonderful in this movie. And it's basically he's got so the movie is about Jimmy Stewart having vertigo, and he's trying to work that out. Meanwhile, he's been asked to kind of spy on this guy's wife and find out what's wrong with her. And the idea was that they were gonna, I guess they were gonna kidnap or kill this woman, and then uh frame it so it looked like a kidnapping. I don't know, or murder or something. I don't know. And then they were gonna like move on with some money and stuff like that for her, but I don't. It was crazy. Um, Mistaken identity, and then he sees the girl afterwards, and he starts to basically because he already fallen in love with her when he was just helping her out and everything. And a lot of these movies, like they fall in love way too fucking fast. It's crazy. And a lot of Hitchcock movies. Oh, number three is one of my favorite movies. Like this would be like number one or number two if you didn't see what one and number two is. But my number three is Rebecca. This movie is so freaking good. If you have not seen it, you need to check it out. It's once again, it's about a couple that get like married too fucking quick, like in a day or two, you know. But they meet, and this guy is a widow, and he meets this woman and he falls in love with her, and then they go to they go to live in the house together and everything. And the problem is like the woman who died, it becomes sort of haunts the house, but not like haunts the house like she's a ghost. Like she's sort of the memory of all the stuff, and the woman starts to kind of put things together, and there's this idea like, did the guy kill his wife or did he not kill his wife? There's a lot of stuff like that. So it's really good. I definitely recommend this movie. And it's I forgot to mention who's in it. For you guys who might be interested. It is. Did they even say? Okay, well, Laurence Olivier is the main actor, and it wasn't was it Ingrid Bergman? Might have been Ingrid Bergman. I, see, sometimes they tell you, and sometimes they don't. Okay, Joan Fontaine. Joan Fontaine. She was so sweet in this movie. You gotta check that out. All right. Next is a little movie called North by Northwest, starring Cary Grant, Eva Marie Saint, and James Mason. This is another one of those classic movies. This is number two of my favorite movies of the movies that I own from Hitchcock. I absolutely adore this movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you watching it. It's really, really good. It is basically this spy thriller. Once again, Cary Grant is, playing a man who's so kind of wrongfully accused of this stuff, and they think that he's this other guy, but this other guy actually doesn't even exist. He's just a product of the government. And then the government sort of at first is like, oh, let's just let this guy, take the fall, and whatever happens to him, it doesn't matter because now we're not connected, he's not connected to the government. But then later he gets kind of trapped into the government stuff, and then he meets Eva Marie Saint, and she has another life that he didn't know about, and all this other stuff. And it's so much fun. I mean, obviously the Mount Rushmore scene is probably the most iconic scene of all of his, movies, but also there's the crop dusting scene, which I'm so bummed. I was out in Bakersfield where that like took place, and just, I mean, because I was so tired. There was so much that we already did. My former roommate and best friend Jackie kind of, she was living out there, so we kind of did a lot of stuff. But like, I would have loved to have gone and seen where the crop dusting. If I ever go back to Bakersfield, I definitely want to check that out. So there you go. North by Northwest. And last but not least, okay, you're gonna probably guess what my number one is. Considering I'm a horror fan, and this is iconic for horror fans and horror fan lovers, and this was the first Hitchcock movie I saw on the big screen. Might be the only one I've seen on the big screen. And when I first saw it on the big screen, I owned it, but I had never seen it before. And so I saw it on the big screen. I was like blown away. I was the only one in the theater. So it was like I was in my living room watching like a movie on a bigger screen. It was awesome. I had so much fun. I loved this movie, and it is Psycho. This is the Steelbook version on for 4K, and it's got the I don't know why that came out. It's got the Blu-ray and 4K of it. And I guess you could have saw the code. I don't know. I haven't used the code, so if you end up using the code, first come, first serve, because I don't do that. I don't even like those things. But I know you can, I think you can sell them, or whatever, but I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, this movie's got Janet Leigh and Anthony Perkins and a lot of cast, great cast in the movie. But really, it's one of the first slasher films ever made, and it is a movie that pretty much, people have, the what is it? The shower scene is so iconic that people to this day still like homage it. But basically, it's about a girl who's running away from the bank because she basically stole money and stuff that she was supposed to deposit, and she decides to just run. And so she goes as far as she can. She ends up going into this motel, and the motel, like, and there's this really long sequence with a cop that I felt like, I don't know. I get it. It was tension and everything, but for a while I thought it could definitely be cut down because it felt way too long. But basically, this cop's finding him and it's got this paranoia, and so she ends up going into this motel that she sees on the side of the road. It's like the only one for miles. This was before we had like GPS and all these other things that you can look up where the nearest hotel is. So she goes up and she goes to this motel, and it's a Bates Motel, and Norman Bates, she chats with him. He's a little weird, but seems harmless. Seems harmless. And then when she's taking a shower, he kills her. And so the biggest thing about that was back then, she was the biggest star, and she was like marketed first. So everybody thought that Janet Leigh was going to be the star of the movie, and she's killed off in the first half of the movie. And so people were thrown off by that. I don't think they liked it, because like nowadays people would like that and be like, "Oh my God, that's so great." A lot of movies do that these days. And then later, they did that with the Scream, did that, and whatnot with Drew Barrymore, and but anywho, this movie was just really iconic and such a blast. And if you haven't seen it, I I totally recommend it. And I mean, it's just a classic. It is a classic. It's Psycho. They've made sequels of it, which I haven't actually seen. I kind of feel bad. I feel like people will be like, I need to take your horror card away from you because you haven't seen them." But I just haven't yet. I own them on DVD somewhere, and eventually I want to get them on Blu-ray, but I just haven't, and this is 4K. I have the Blu-ray. Well, I will have. I'm giving the Blu-ray to a friend of mine because I think he doesn't have it. But aside from that, this movie is iconic. This is probably one of the most, known Hitchcock movies around. So there you go. Anyway, that is my top 10 movies. So go with Psycho is number 10. Number 9 is North by Northwest. Number 8 is, or no, wait, these are number 1, number 2, number 3 is Rebecca. Number 4 is Vertigo. Number 5 is Notorious. Number 6 is The Lifeboat. 7 is 39 Steps. 39 Steps to 7. Number 6, or number 8 is Rope. Number 9 is The Birds. And number 10 is Strangers on a Train. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys think. What is your favorite of that group of movies that I had? Was Psycho your favorite, or North by Northwest, or are you a big fan like The Birds? I don't know. A lot of people do like The Birds. I think it's a great movie. It's just not one of my favorites, top favorites. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know what you think. Talk to you later. Bye.